Hello, everyone. Welcome to MicroWorld. My name is Phong Le. I'm the president and CFO of Microstrategy, and I really appreciate your time today, spending time with the company and spending time with MicroWorld. And I want to share with you a few highlights from Microstrategy before we get started. For those who've been following MicroStrategy over the last year, we've had a tremendous run of success. Our business intelligence business is booming. Our alternate strategies in areas like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin are extremely successful. And our software is in a better place than it's ever been. And we believe we're offering more success to our customers than we ever have before. I'll start with just a few financial highlights to give you a sense of the success of the company. Over the last 4 quarters, we have seen 50% growth on our product license revenues, some of the greatest growth we've seen in over a decade. We've seen 23% growth in our consulting revenues. This is our consultants delivering value-added services to our customers and our prospects. We've seen our cloud business grow 30% on a year-over-year basis, which is tremendous. We're seeing the move into the cloud happening faster than ever before in the business intelligence space, and MicroStrategy is a big leader in that area. And we now hold over 105,000 Bitcoin. It's been a tremendously successful balance sheet strategy for us where we've invested over $2.5 billion in Bitcoin, and that's worth over $4.5 billion today. And it gives us a strong balance sheet and a strong financial capability to deliver even more to you in terms of software, in terms of services, in terms of success. The analyst community continues to see MicroStrategy as the top enterprise analytics platform in the world, whether you look at Gartner, who has us at the #1 in enterprise analytics on their critical capabilities, Bark, who has us top ranked in business value and top ranked across multiple different dimensions of business intelligence, and Ventana Research, who still has us #1 in product experience. And most recently, we're very proud that our customers, many of you, voted us as a Customer Choice Award winner, one of the top 4 vendors in all of the business intelligence industry. And what we like about this one is this is not the analyst speaking, this is our customers speaking, saying that we are the best in enterprise analytics. And we're really proud of that, and we're really happy, and thank you for all of your reviews. We continue to serve the enterprise, 50% or so of the S&P 500 across all the major industries: retail, financial services, manufacturing, government, technology, healthcare, pharma, and some of the greatest logos in the world and greatest companies in the world. Something we're very excited about and continue to be proud of. As an added statistic, if you look at our top 15 customers in the world, you've been with us on an average 23 years. It's a testament to the strength of our software, the value that we add to your day-to-day operations, and the relationship we have with some of the greatest companies in the world. Our success is based on all the innovations we've had over the 30-year history of MicroStrategy. In the most recent 5 years, especially with our release of MicroStrategy 2019, we focused on providing modern experiences, an open architecture enterprise platform, and being your trusted partner. From a modern perspective, we offer new innovative tools like Dossier and Library, which really provides a personalized interactive book of dashboards, mobile productivity apps, which let you take your insights into actions in the palm of your hand, and hyperintelligence, which is one of the greatest innovations in business intelligence in the last 20 years, getting answers before you ask them with 0 clicks. We've really been focused on our open architecture as a independent BI platform. We want to be able to let you use the MicroStrategy semantic layer and all the amazing data in whatever interfaces you want. And we've federated our analytics so you can pull them into mobile apps, web apps, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, however you want to use our MicroStrategy engine or our data. And we've now also create a comprehensive set of SDKs and APIs so you can interact with MicroStrategy through code and also embed it into applications. We're enterprise grade. Everyone knows us for that. We provide the lowest TCO in terms of business intelligence. We have the greatest performance and scalability, and we provide the best end-to-end extensible security and role-based security that you can find in the BI industry. and we're a trusted partner. We have world-class services and support 24/7 worldwide. Our cloud is one of the best enterprise-grade parity offerings in the business, and we continue to innovate. You know we're going to be around. We've been around for over 30 years. We invent something new every 5 to 10 years in the BI industry, and we'll continue to do that. As I mentioned, we're the world-class cloud partner. We now are aggressively moving a lot of our customers in a matter of weeks, sometimes a month, over to the cloud, and we want to do that for you. We want to give you lower costs, increased scalability, increased portability, increased agility. And what we're finding is as we do this, customers love the experience and they can upskill their folks who are playing administrative roles into developer roles. And it's a great win-win solution for everybody. So what's driving MicroStrategy's success over the last year? We've seen really 3 major trends occur in the enterprise business intelligence world. One, with all the macroeconomic and disruptions, the supply chain disruptions, we've seen companies realize, especially through COVID in 2020, the need to modernize their experiences. In some cases, that means replacing legacy systems like SAP's Business Objects, Oracle's OBIE, IBM's Cognos. And the reason they need to replace those legacy systems is those companies are focusing their investments on competing with the large cloud providers, Microsoft and AWS and Salesforce, and no longer investing in their legacy BI solutions. The logical replacement for that is MicroStrategy, right? When you're looking to replace a legacy enterprise BI solution that provides scalability, accessibility, security, MicroStrategy provides you a lot of the same things, but in a modern experience. And we're seeing acceleration of that trend. Companies don't want to be caught flat-footed with subscale, no longer innovative solutions. And we're happy to be the replacement solution for that. The second trend we've really seen is over the last 10 years or so, we've seen a lot of experimental BI. Investments in things like augmented analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning. In some cases, those were trial ideas that didn't come to fruition in terms of things that actually provide action, insights, output to the organization. And we've seen those investments move back into enterprise business intelligence that provides innovative outcomes and actions. And again, in that case, that prefers towards MicroStrategy, and we're excited to be a part of that trend too. The last trend that we're seeing is as technology resources become more expensive and more scarce, more and more organizations making a buy versus build decision. Your scarce technology resources focus on the things that are core to your business, and in areas like analytics, relying on a modern, open, enterprise-grade platform like MicroStrategy. And we're happy to talk through any of those trends in more detail through MicroWorld or through any further conversations. But we're excited to be part of those trends, and we're excited to be part of the growth. So thank you very much. It's good to have an opportunity to speak to you all. I appreciate you spending time at MicroWorld. And please reach out to any of your MicroStrategy associates if you need any more information or any more help. Thank you again for being a customer and a prospect of MicroStrategy.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to MicroWorld. My name is Peter Walker from Microstrategy UK.
And good morning from me as well. My name is Dirk Verwij. I'm responsible for the Netherlands and the Nordics. We have a great lineup of presenters and customers from both customers and MicroStrategy staff today. So we're looking forward to a great day.
Okay, so thanks, Dirk. It's great to be here. Both Dirk and I are really looking forward to a really exciting schedule on the agenda. We'll just kick things off. If we could go to the next slide, Dirk. So as we've just heard from Phong, there's a huge amount going on in the analytics market currently, and particularly at MicroStrategy, as we've been engaging with the market, with our customers, with our partners and our prospects, and understanding the challenges that they face on a day-to-day basis, and learning from them in terms of some of their strategies going forward. And what we've seen is a growing number of world-leading organizations that have concluded enterprise analytics is certainly no longer a luxury they can afford to operate without. What we've done is we've put together a white paper entitled The Enterprise Analytics Supercycle, which is available for everybody today to download. And in particular, there were three emerging trends in the data and analytics industry that appear to be converging through the analysis that we've done, the engagement that we've had with the marketplace. And ultimately, that's created this enterprise analytics supercycle that is likely to widen the gap between those organizations that are data-driven and those that are not. And in particular, what we've seen is organizations pivoting to, accelerating towards, and in particular, demanding value-based driven strategies for analytics. And therefore, as part of this event, we've put together an agenda that helps everybody in attendance and those watching virtually on recorded sessions to learn about those particular emerging trends and ultimately to support their business going forward. So all of these topics are covered in each of the sessions throughout the course of the day today. Next slide. So as market leaders replace legacy solutions, they're unlocking new value from their data. Organizations are rushing to modernize their analytics and move to the cloud as the ability to rapidly develop and deploy business and productivity focused applications to all users, all use cases, user scenarios in any location. And in particular, the MicroStrategy platform enables you to unlock value by replacing legacy solutions with modern tools for an enhanced storytelling and data analysis experience, and then delivering modern analytics experiences that result in greater adoption and increased business impact. Ultimately, realizing remarkable business value in a matter of weeks with no disruption to your users. Next slide. So the ultimate value of modern analytics is how we can answer the critical questions that drive our business. A modern approach is focused on the full value it can possibly drive for your organization, new revenue streams, new customers, new solutions, while traditional BI is more focused on data reporting, standardization, and the cost of BI tools. So at MicroStrategy, we see the shift from traditional to modern is happening every day as more and more customers are realizing more value from moving to modern tools like Workstation, Dossier, Hyperintelligence, and scaling by moving to the cloud. Next slide. So driving an analytics first cloud strategy, in particular, MicroStrategy Enterprise Cloud delivers the lowest total cost of ownership via scalability, portability, and automation. And it combines two key assets, best-in-class architecture and best-in-class user experience that enables organizations to rapidly adopt a cloud strategy and deploy at scale phenomenally business impactful, business value, data-driven orientated solutions. And so what we would recommend as part of your cloud strategy is to modernize your analytics experience so that you can accelerate innovation and drive business value across your enterprise with the MicroStrategy Cloud, and all much more quickly and easily than you think. Partnering with our experts will help you build your business case, technical requirements, and implementation plans for your move to the cloud using our proven methodology that's helped hundreds of customers around the world drive more value by adopting the MicroStrategy Cloud. We'll work with you to build your cloud environment and migrate your metadata, support your environment testing, data validation, and production cutover. And for existing customers that are with us already, we'll upgrade you to the latest version of MicroStrategy all at the same time. Okay, over to you, Dirk.
Thanks, Peter. So while we see a hypercard on the screen, I'd first like to quickly add some context. And so the trends we identified are basically a result of the fact that companies need to become more agile and data-driven, to cope with the ever-changing circumstances under which they need to operate. And data-driven in a nutshell means that all decisions are made based on reliable information. Now, there are many aspects and challenges organizations face when becoming data-driven, yet there's one aspect I'd like to highlight here, and which is also one of the traditional challenges of BI, being end-user adoption. Or to be more precise, how to reach 100% adoption. How do we make sure we reach all user types inside and outside the firewall in a way that suits their needs and help organizations on their journey to becoming truly data-driven? And by the way, here I'd like to reference Nick Barth, his presentation at 10:45 about this very topic. Now, BI at scale and reaching high adoption is not easy, and many things have to come together to do this right. From an end user perspective, for one, the BI team needs to be able to accommodate different types of users, different types of skill levels and use cases. And there are many, ranging from self-service, BI to static reporting, and everything in between. And secondly, the information must be integrated as opposed to siloed, so that users get the whole picture instead of only a slice. And thirdly, the user must be able to trust the information that is being presented, and he or she must be able to navigate large data sets and with performance. So from an admin or enterprise perspective, we have this notion of time to value. It is critical that end users get their hands on new content, either created by themselves or created for them in a timely fashion. The longer it takes to deliver content, the greater the risk of lost opportunity. We must also be able to create fine-grained security and user roles. And organizations look for flexible deployment options. And Peter already mentioned our enterprise-grade cloud offering earlier, which is, of course, the trend in the industry. And here I'd like to reference Antoliano's session at 12:30 called Innovate Faster with Microstrategy Cloud. And lastly, all of this needs to be done with the right economics, of course. It is MicroStrategy's unique combination of capabilities unified in a single organically grown platform that sets us apart. We believe that the breadth and depth of our platform virtually cover all the requirements needed to do BI and analytics right. It actually gives companies the opportunity to consolidate vendors with all the obvious benefits that will bring. And we'll hear more about all these capabilities during the day. And there's one capability I'd like to quickly highlight here, which is Hyper. It's already mentioned earlier this morning, currently on the screen. We position Hyper as an easy to implement mechanism to drive adoption even further, as it allows injecting insights and actions into every application, of which you see examples on the screen right now. Users have instant access to information simply by hovering over the screen. And here I'd like to refer to Michael Janowski's session with regards to Hyper at 11:45, and the workshop being done by Chantal Moss at 1:45 p.m. The third trend we are highlighting here is embedding. Traditionally, we've always seen software companies using BI tools to embed analytics in their own IP. What we now see more and more is that the companies and organizations are also embedding analytics into their own core applications, like ERP or CRM, but also customer portals and vendor portals. And again, the aim is to inject analytics into all decisions that are being made. And in the case of external facing applications, to allow customers and other trading partners to make data-driven decisions each time they interact with each other. And I'd like to reference here two sessions that are being held later today. That will be Javier's session called Turn Your Data into a Differentiator. And then also the session done by our Norwegian customer Visma at 1:45 p.m. The last use case, if we can call it that, I'd like to call out here is mobile. And then I will hand over back to Peter. MicroStrategy was very early in recognizing mobile devices as a vehicle for delivering content to end users and enabling users to make decisions on the go. As mentioned, we provide SDKs and all kinds of other technologies to deliver highly responsive and native user experiences, including white labeling and transactional workflows by leveraging our write-back capabilities. Again, aiming to drive highest possible adoption rates. With that, I'd like to hand back to Peter.
Thank you, Dirk. Okay, so, MicroStrategy works with the best and the largest brands across multiple verticals and multiple industries. We all met at World 2021 earlier this year. We shared ideas, experiences, and we returned to work with a lot of feedback. We're going to have a look at what we've been working on since then and how the analytics industry has changed and what is currently trending and covering many of the aspects of those key trends within each of the sessions today. In particular, I think the best experience that we can all get is through learning from others and developing our strategies off the back of those experiences that others have had. And without doubt, our customers and the engagement that we get with our customers is key to our success. One great example of that is the work that we've been doing with the team at Sainsbury's. And I am very pleased to introduce Stephen Henson Tyers from Sainsbury's to deliver some key insights as to their experiences to date with MicroStrategy. Over to you, Stephen.
Hello there, my name's Stephen Henson Tyers. I'm the Senior Data Viz and Automation Manager at Sainsbury's. And I'm here to talk to you about how many BI platforms does a large enterprise like Sainsbury's really need. So I'm part of the Applied Data Analytics team, ADA, which is a centralized function of about 150 talented people, which are dedicated towards delivering data-led products back to the business, driving unbiased insights, democratization of data, and driving a single version of truth reporting. ADA itself is split across 4 functions. So the team I lead is the Data Viz and Automation team, which has over 60 people across 8 squads, driving visualizations and automations back to the business using MicroStrategy. We have a great analytics team driving key insights and analysis on fundamental business issues and questions. A data science team using data to drive algorithmic products, and a product team defining the what and the why of the business and helping drive the priority and keeping the cogs turning. But we are also supported by a brilliant data tech team of more than 155 people, which comprise of 15 plus modelers, over 120 engineers, and 20 in product itself. So collectively, we're over 300 people delivering our vision on data. So I'm going to start with a very simple question. How many products have we sold? It's one of the fundamental questions that as a retailer, we ask ourselves on a yearly, monthly, daily, or even intraday basis, right? But however, it's actually a lot more complicated than we realize. The aim of the next 20 minutes is to break down why this is not so much of a simple question as you may think, focusing on Sainsbury's approach to data and how we use MicroStrategy as a strategic tool to deliver on our aims. So I'm going to bring it back. Sainsbury's is over 152 years old. It's a single business, single retail business 152 years ago, built on a single store in 173 Drury Lane, opened up by John James and Sainsbury's and Mary Ann Sainsbury's. We've gone from that to over 600 supermarkets and 800 convenience stores. We have a desire to change the face of retail with things like Uber Eats and Deliveroo at over 200 other stores, with Smart Shop app allowing customers to scan, pack, and go at over 1,200 locations. So we're driving innovation all the time, constantly changing the landscape of what we're doing with retail in our supermarkets. But not only that, Sainsbury's is a wider team, a wider family of key trusted brands that give us the customer an enriched experience. So for Argos, we offer, for example, outstanding convenience, choice, and value on our non-food lines. Habitat are delivering innovative and affordable furniture and homewares to the UK. 2, our design-led, excellent quality, great value fashion. Nectar having the UK's biggest loyalty program, and the bank offering an award-winning blend of financial products and attractive rewards for Sainsbury's customers. So it's quite a huge scope in terms of what we define as Sainsbury's. So with that in mind, how do you define sales? So in each one of these large retail areas, we could have a different view of what that question could be in terms of the answer. So to facilitate each one of these, different sources are often needed to answer the question. So for example, finance may have a very P&L view on what a version of sales is, whereas digital may care more about adding things like delivery income or using basket level analysis to understand it by customer segmentation of people using it on the platform, for example. So the digital teams may not be able to use the data sets that have been delivered by finance. So often teams are then having to create their own data marts or their own data areas to drive their own reporting, which leads to different versions of the truth. And that can persist across all the different areas of a traditional retailer. And we see this actively across Sainsbury's. But not only that, with Sainsbury's being a food-centric business, and you say have Argos and Nectar, they all will have different, or could potentially have different versions of what those answers are. So you've not only got that problem existing in one ecosystem of say Sainsbury's, you've got it multiplied over the different areas. And then we've gone a step further in that we've, to build on synergies, we've then combined these teams together. So you've got different tools, different technologies, different ways of processing the data in joined up teams among the business. And this creates a very difficult environment for us to actually generate the answer on how much we sold our products, which results in this kind of spaghetti junction of reporting. So we have multiple databases underneath, all hosting different data marts of information going on, surfacing up in multiple reports or data sets are often downloaded or put into Excel files, etc., and then delivered in multiple methods using different processes and teams and technology. It's a mess often when you look underneath the hood of it all. So what do companies usually do in this example is they try to introduce a more kind of agile tool. So they often see the issue of the fact that we've got spaghetti junctions of data going here, there, and everywhere. But we need to get to a new report or a combined view of this. So quite often teams will introduce other dashboarding tools and ETL processes to try and come up with the end product without thinking about the additional spaghetti junction that's happening underneath. So this further perpetuates different technology stacks. You know, you get an output, but it comes at the cost of what the true golden fact or the single version of truth of that fact is. The effort to update definitions across all of those reporting ecosystems is usually complex. You know, you'd have to replace the values in all of the ecosystems as opposed to just one. And it's also often built with different teams owning the administration of the different areas. So it becomes complex to understand how to resolve issues or challenges or change things in the future. So in our approach, a few years ago, Sainsbury's undertook a huge task of looking at our current data and analytics landscape. And we took it on ourselves to reimagine what a true data-led organization could look like. This has resulted in one of our key projects called Aspire. It stands for a strategic platform for insights and reporting. And the idea is it's a clean solution built on innovative tools, technology, scaling, to rebuild our key data assets in a future-proof way, and again, to focus on scale. So important in our approach the important thing about our approach is that it's supported by the whole business. So be that top down with a viewpoint that we need to democratize our data, drive a single version of the truth and golden facts and metrics. And the important thing of centralizing our budget for key tools and development activity. So only can we empower and get behind a single tool, for example, and put a focus upon a single tool. It also stops those kind of elements of pet projects going on that, you know, may perpetuate an environment where you're again building up that complexity and spaghetti junction fill. The second aim of it would be, or the second area that is important in this, is the business buy-in. So that the business has to be open to changing the processes, to valuing the impact of data, and to be truly bought into data-led decisioning. A really important arm of what we're doing is to ensure that what we're doing is safe and secure. So the governance is a key factor in delivering this vision. So that rolls up in truly data-defined definitions. So we all wrap around what sales is and the definition of that, and we all agree to it, and we all know where it is and where we can get it. So we're using tools like Elation to kind of catalog our data, for example. Quality checked and assured data, so we have it really clear that the data that is being landed in our environments is clean, is secure, is safe, is what it's supposed to be. And how we're delivering it is also really important. So we're sure that we're doing it in a safe and secure manner. So, you know, we're not exposing our data to the wrong people or too much information to our colleagues, for example. Where we come in is the agile analytics side. So we are part of we deliver as part of cross-functional teams. So we don't deliver as data viz in isolation. We deliver as a team wrapped up in true end-to-end delivery. So looking at how we can utilize all the skill sets within the teams to deliver on a way forward. We use agile principles so that we are, you know, quick to market on things that we are delivering. And I think one of the most important things in IRA is that we're all wrapped around the single strategic vision across all areas. So we are very clear around what we are trying to do and our end state and goals. So with that in mind, what if we could reimagine reporting? What if we could take that spaghetti junction of an image and rethink it with those values and principles that I just shared with you? So we could have Snowflake as our scaling database solution, where our brilliant engineering teams are bringing all that data and democratizing and putting it into a scalable solution. We've got MicroStrategy Cloud. So you've heard just before our MicroStrategy Cloud is built around scaling and utilizing cloud technology to deliver a platform that's fit for purpose for the future, not just for now. That platform being able to deliver through multi-channel of the way, all the different channels that our end users are expecting to use and digest that data. And I'll go into that a little bit later in terms of what that would mean. Using the semantic layer, the metadata information underneath that holds the value of truth, the single version of truth, the golden facts of metrics that's persistent across it all to our stakeholders. And consistently, so it's the same numbers going across all of our stakeholders in a controlled and measured manner. So why are each one of these channels important? Well, if we look at, for example, the web access side, we've identified two key use cases in that. So we have the traditional web access of building and sharing their own dossiers, dashboards, etc., and data points. So to be able to use that semantic layer and the metadata layer to drive their own version of reporting, to be truly self-serve in what they're doing, and to be able to use the platform to drive subscriptions and to send, to be able to communicate those dossiers and visuals out to the wider people to control the element of access. Excuse me. Library, we've also found really important in this. Not only is it a really nice UI for our customers to go on to, but it's also a way to cut across multiple projects whilst we're developing our single central project. So it's a great way to be project agnostic, to drive easy navigation. It's that element of like Netflix type view of going through our dossiers and picking the things that are relevant to you, to filter, to navigate to the right area. And the other side is that it's our read-only access to that. So the one before is more for our developer and more power users. You know, the library is much more a read-only, a digester of information. Multi-platform and different ways of extracting the data is really important. So we have over 11,000 colleagues utilizing our reports on their Zebra devices, on their mobile devices within store, and digesting content, as well as our hundreds of store support colleagues digesting it on Mac. So it's important that we have a way in which we can design responsively that perpetuates through different areas, but that we also fully connected up with the data throughout it all. The good thing is Microstrategy enables all avenues of areas that we are looking to interact with the data at all levels of our business. The other side of what we're doing, and I'm glad to hear in the intro they were talking about embedding and the REST API service and Python codifying access. We've spotted huge areas of improvement in what we could do with the data. So we are looking at embedding we've got several projects on the go at the moment, embedding visualizations into applications. So to use the visualization tools within our applications that we are building to, could be to suppliers, it could be to people within our store support centers, for example. So they don't have to, a couple of things, they don't have to rebuild all the libraries that you would need to build your own out of the box visualizations. It comes out of the packaging with MicroStrategy, so you can use the functionality within MicroStrategy to visualize the data coming through. But what we've also found is that they can use the data and the metadata so that the single version of truth of sales, for example, can be perpetuated across all the applications, be it in the visualization being embedded or the data being extracted out from the tool. We've also seen a brilliant use case in both analytics and data science, where quite often analysis or insights are often built, and the question is, where do I get my sales from, and what do I need to filter sales by, for example? All that information is hosted within our semantic layer. So we are looking at building methods of taking data out of MicroStrategy, or using semantic layer to take data out of Snowflake, we should say, to then convert it and model it within Python, and to put it back into either Snowflake or MicroStrategy to then visualize the output. So it's about integrating MicroStrategy in all the avenues that we would want to make it a fully integrated platform for our visualization needs. And the idea, the whole thing, the reason why we are pushing for this and we are actively developing in this area is because that sales definition at the bottom right-hand side, which is in Snowflake and has been codified in MicroStrategy Cloud in our single project, ever changes. And we are looking at changing the definition of sales within our reporting estate. Version 2.0 comes in, it is one change in the semantic layer in the project. And that perpetuates across all of those platforms outside for all of the end users. And so they see the true golden fact answer of that information. So how's it going? Well, as I said, this project's been going on for a few years, and we are ramping up the amount of reports that are available on MicroStrategy Cloud. So there are a couple of key factors driving this. For example, we are decommissioning old reporting instances and moving them over to MicroStrategy. For example, we had Excel-based reporting going out to our stores. Now we have security filtered information going out to store devices where they only see the information they're supposed to see. It's delivered in the method they want to see. And also they don't have to print it out and carry it with them. They can access it on their device anytime they like. And so that's resulted in over 1 million views of our data at one point in time on all of our dossiers and dashboards being used in Microstrategy Cloud. And that's an upwards trend that's carrying on going as we decommission more and build more within our central projects. Just one thing I want to leave you on is how important that everybody is aligned to that single strategic vision. What you see now is our usage on one of our mobile reporting platforms. And before the big peak and before the label of VPN, we only were able to access it whilst on the corporate network. When we removed that barrier, because we deemed it less risky than what the teams were doing to circumvent the VPN barrier, we found the usage increase 7-fold amongst the stores. Now, if you take a step back, that is 7 times more our colleagues are using data in a safe and secure manner to drive their business decisions on the shop floor or in SSC. So this had to be, we got this by everybody being aligned to the strategic vision. We accepted the risk and made sure that with MicroStrategy's increased security and the way that it can do it in a safe and secure manner with things like SSO integration, SAML, etc. We were able to deliver this in a safe and secure manner to our colleagues, and our colleagues were able to utilize the benefits of this and drive more data-led decisioning on the shop floor. That's it for me. I just want to say thank you very much for listening to me, and if there's time, I'm open the floor up to any questions.
Thank you, Stephen. Really, really interesting to see how your deployment has developed over time and is delivering great business value. We've got time for questions. If anybody wants to include a question within the live discussion chat box, we'll take a look at those and try and answer one or two before we switch to our next live presenter. Here we go from Peter. Hi, Peter. Peter True. How many teams and what is the makeup, Stephen? What sort of investment have you been able to secure to drive this forward?
Well, the investment has been multi-million in our capital. So it's in the tens of millions in terms of the amount of drive to build the data platform in our data tech side. In terms of the teams in data viz, in my area, building reporting on MicroStrategy, we have 8 teams, one of which the team is a central, more of a central function looking at how we build the capability across all teams to make sure that we have the right documentation in place, the right processes, the right the right standards in place and process to apply. So we've got, as I said, eight brilliant teams within data viz, 8 again in analytics, and a lot of resource within data science and product within Ada, but underpinned by 155 tech colleagues, as I said before, driving the data delivery, which is that's where the significant effort is in terms of redefining and recreating all of our golden facts and metrics.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. And then just one other question. My organization currently runs multiple BI platforms. It's not by design, more inherited legacy through lack of strategy, but the cost resource required to change is greater than management is willing to commit to. How did you, Sainsbury's, create the business case to undertake the transformation from your decentralized heterogeneous platforms to the single centralized Aspire platform? We've got 1 minute, Stephen. It's a big question. But
that's a very big question in a minute. I suppose the key thing to say is we did have a central business case, and it was all around driving the use of data to power efficient decision-making and algorithms, whilst also incorporating how we decommission legacy platforms and the costs associated to it. within how do we stop the business state that happens with other BI systems and platforms? Well, what we do is we by central funding and developing a central budget to make it so that the platform we have the right thing in place, we have the right admin team, we have the right scale to enable teams to come on board, to create the opportunity to allow other teams that are using other technologies to come on board to see the fact that it can be used and they can transition from A to B. But I'd like to just concentrate on or focus on the fact that my team also goes out to the business to try and train and coach other areas to say, this is what we can do. What are you trying to do? Understand the what and the why, to then try to get them onto that journey around how they could also be implemented. Because I think there is often seen technical barriers towards it, when in reality, when you break it down and showcase it, what you can do, and the fact that it's actually quite easy and plug and play, those barriers quickly go away as soon as they start using the tool.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Stephen. There are other questions. What we'll do is we'll circle around those later and get some responses over to those individuals that have asked the questions and to the audience in general. So thank you, Stephen, much appreciated. We'll move swiftly over to Dirk for our next customer presentation.
This was excellent. This was a great presentation done just now. And it's my pleasure to introduce Booking.com and Saurabh. It's a great pleasure. I know Saurabh now for almost 2 years. And it's also interesting to see the similarities between a company like Sainsbury, who is in retail and supermarkets, and noticing that these large organizations basically face the same issues and challenges when they are when they want to do BI, and I'm pretty sure that Saurabh is going to talk about that as well. So Saurabh, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing fine. I'm Saurabh Bhajaria. I'm part of financial planning and analysis with Booking.com, and I'm going to tell you today about my experience with MicroStrategy and how are we solving challenges which FP&A is facing with respect to compliance, reusability, time to market, etc. Before we go into, I hope you all have heard about Booking.com, but if someone has not heard about it, we are a company started in Netherlands in 1996, almost close to now 25 years old, but we still feel like a startup. And now we are part of Booking Holding, from US, and our aim is to make it easier for everyone to experience the world. We are available now in 43 languages, and we have more than 28 million total accommodation listing available on our website. And it's not only hotel, but also there are so many amazing homes, apartments, and other unique places to stay. So if you haven't experienced Booking.com yet, maybe it's time to experience it. Who am I? I am Senior Manager of Data and System for Financial Planning and Analysis for Booking.com, and I'm leading a team of around 15 people within FP&A to make sure that the data and systems and reporting analytics are being served to our internal and external stakeholders. I am primarily responsible for the enterprise reporting coming out of FP&A, calculation of all the non-financial metrics, and successful execution of all the risk-relevant compliance controls to make sure that Booking.com is able to comply with SOX, which we are under obligation from because we are a part of Booking Holding, and also other financial compliance requirement. But if you haven't heard about FP&A before, here is a very quick refresher for FP&A. FP&A is part of finance organization, and we are responsible to understand the overall company's health on different financial aspects of it. And we do it by calculating different kinds of financial and non-financial KPIs. Relevant for Booking.com, we want to know about how many room nights have been booked, what is the length of the stay one customer is booking through our website, and what kind of commissions we are getting out of those bookings. So these are the few KPIs which we calculate to understand out of a big list of KPIs to make sure that how company is performing on different verticals, on different business aspects. FP&A is also responsible to provide month-end reports, primarily focusing on non-financial reports to be shared with Booking Holding, so that Booking Holding can use it to be reported externally to NASDAQ, but also to the other privacy and legal requirements. We also prepared the internal reports to be shared with our internal stakeholders, ranging from all the business teams, so that they can steer their business effectively and can understand how their business units are performing. We are primarily responsible also for budgeting. Every year, we spend a significant amount of time to understand how the budget needs to be prepared for next year, how the different new use cases needs to be evaluated, and make sure that all the business teams get the best out of their budget schedule, which they want to aim for every year. In the end, we compare the actuals versus forecast, so that we can understand that how trends are happening, how different internal and external factors impacting our business performance, and so that we can make a decision to change it to steer our business effectively and make sure that we are investing at the right places to make a significant impact on the business output. For FP&A, being compliant, agility to do things faster, and all the insights with the highest quality is very key for a successful function. And that's what the core is for FP&A. And from my data team, I am here to make sure that FP&A gets what it all needs to be, so that all these functions can be delivered effectively. So data strategy play a very critical role within FP&A. And that's why, even though it's a business team, I'm managing a specific data and reporting team for FP&A, so that we can achieve all our future plans with respect to data landscape and also the highest compliance maturity with respect to all upcoming new regulations in the finance and non-financial world. Our goal is that we can provide a seamless and scalable data operation through providing by automation and agility, and we can make the business analyst and owner of their own reports, of their own data operations, which they are doing, so that they can really trust it. They can go with the business partners with the confidence on the data, and can give them the right direction to run their business. My data team is responsible to run all the risk and SOX controls to make sure that all our processes are SOX compliant, and we are able to provide all the required evidence during our different audit cycles with US and in Netherlands, because we are working in Netherlands primarily, but also reporting to holding. Forecasting is a key function of FP&A. So, and for forecasting, we need to provide all kind of transactional data to our financial analyst. So my team is responsible to make sure that we are giving them all the data, but with the highest quality, so that they can really run their financial model with the best of the input, and can do a highly accurate forecast with respect to future actuals upcoming. So giving them a highest quality is a very important. Otherwise, their forecasting models will not be able to make a better prediction. In the end, we are responsible for developing these KPIs, which can be reused across financial analysts, managers, directors, but also with the external business units, so that they can compare their internal reporting with respect to FP&A reporting. So we are here to make sure that we are providing a unified management reporting across all the business functions, so that all of their redundancy to calculate these KPIs can be eliminated. Historically, FP&A was data driven, but primarily driven by Excel sheets. So anyone who is working in finance can totally relate with this, that finance people love spreadsheets and Excel. And that's why within Booking.com FP&A, we also have 200 plus Excel-driven reporting. And I don't even dare to count the Excel which my analysts are using to make their financial models and do their self-service analysis on top of data which we provide them. So spreadsheet was at the core of FP&A functions, but it was throwing a very unique challenges, because it was almost impossible to manage and maintain all the data which was going as an input to this Excel, and then it's being used to do the reporting. It was impossible to provide the right evidence for the auditing capabilities that how the data is being processed in these Excels, in the macros and the formulas. And every analyst was doing their own KPI calculation in the Excel by using their own business formulas. And when we have to onboard or offboard any analyst, we were losing all the business value in those Excels, and we were not able to really reuse anything out of it. That leads us to lacking of all the standards to make the data pipeline, the reporting pipeline, and there was no way we can introduce any automation in our whole reporting landscape. That leads us to provide all the business reports by spending more time in preparing the data, operations, reporting, and eventually leading us towards a higher time to market for all our reporting needs. So we decided it's time to change, and logically we moved to make a bit more structured architecture for FP&A so that the data can be structured into a more logical grouping. We can split out the technical complexity out of the data, and we can leave the business complexity and business modeling into one part of the architecture so that analysts can focus more on data analysis, preparing report for the business units, and data team can focus more on technical integration, historization of the data, and make sure that all the data qualities rules have been implemented and the data can be prepared with the highest quality before it goes to the next layer of business consumption. So we are leveraging Snowflake and MicroStrategy to make this landscape. This is already in practice now. We are working on this for close to 2 years to transform our existing Hadoop-based architecture to this cloud foundation. And part of it has been used by our business teams already. So we have segregated the data in our common layer where we can stage everything, whatever coming from all our sources. Within the FP&A, we need to have data source almost from all the aspects of the business so that we can really do our financial modeling and can change our forecasting as we go ahead. So we are taking all the data and then we are giving them a FP&A specific transformation in the base layer. And once that data is technically ready for business consumption, the data is moving into Snowflake and MicroStrategy semantic layer with the more business-oriented data model and ready for different kind of transactions in the reporting layer through semantic data layer in this picture. By leveraging this architecture, we are making sure that we are providing a single source of truth for all the KPIs, which is being used within FP&A and being used outside FP&A, and we can manage the metadata for an easy audit trail to prove to all our compliance needs. We have started MicroStrategy Adoption around 3 years back within FP&A, and it has given us a lot of flexibility. And the key change which we are driving within FP&A is making a semantic model in MicroStrategy so that all the key KPIs, because the function of the FP&A is quite repetitive. We need to do the same things monthly, quarterly, annually. And unless there is a very big change in the business, our KPIs don't change that often. However, we need to make sure that we can provide those KPIs on a different dimensions distribution so that we can give more accuracy of the business modeling and the business performance on a different dimensions to our stakeholder. So designing that in semantic model really helped us to make a single version of truth. And all our analysts and all our business teams, they don't need to really worry about how these KPIs has been calculated, what is the business logic behind it, and they can simply go and use with the full confidence. By leveraging MicroStrategy's solid security and access framework, we are able to really provide the business teams whatever they are supposed to access, because all our data are highly critical and it can give a different insights to different departments about their cost, their future budget, and also their actual performance. So it is very important that we provide access to the specific people whom should get the access. And also we can prove to the auditors that the data is not being misused through access and it cannot be exported out without by someone who should not have access on it. So we are able to really make a very secure and solid access framework by using MicroStrategy. And with the self-service environment, all our analysts are now making their own reports, sending the reports directly to their stakeholders without going into a spreadsheet and doing a lot of data preparations first and then the calculations of the KPI. So that is also eliminating a lot of Excel from our systems. By having the semantic layer, we are also gaining more confidence on our business definitions. And in case there is a change in the definition, we can enforce the definition change centrally from our semantic layer, and all other business teams will use the new definitions with the full confidence with the right data quality. That is also helping us a lot to keep a track of any change in the business and the use of that KPI across the units. Finally, we are able to give this drill down capability to our analysts so that they can look a higher view of the KPIs and then can drill down to the transitional data to make sure that they can do more analysis on that data and make their new reports if they need to. MicroStrategy implementation in last 3 years was not that challenging, thanks to the cloud managed service which we are using from MicroStrategy. So we can really focus on supporting our business teams rather than worrying about the infrastructure management, etc. So that was very helpful. And also with all the training programs, our analysts, our directors, managers, business C executives, and the developer, they are able to understand their own persona and how they need to use the tool, where they need to access, how can they do self-service, etc. So with the training programs, we were able to really give them a flavor in their own capacity of MicroStrategy. And with the semantic model design, all the KPI distribution, self-service, and migration of Excel reports was relatively easy for us in terms of implementation. Here are a few samples of the reports. So this is one report which we built for our C executives, because in this one, earlier they need to open all the emails and look for each vertical and then understand the performance of each business unit. But by leveraging MicroStrategy library, we are able to give high-level view to our executives of all these business verticals, and they can understand how these verticals are performing now, and then can ask the respective questions from the business leaders of the respective department. This was a very appreciated report from the executive, because before that they have never seen this view at a single place, and also with the full confidence on the data quality and the business definitions. And now they can simply focus on understanding how the business is performing, and rather than trying to ask, okay, is this data correct and can we trust this data? For our analyst, we are able to give them the more self-service environment, and then they can go for the KPI. On the left side of the pen, you can see they can pull the KPIs on the different data emissions and can compare the data with the forecast which they have done and the actuals which is coming out of transition system. And then based on their actual and forecast variance, they can make the different changes in the financial model so that for the future use cases, the forecast can remain as close as possible to the actuals. This was, again, eliminating a lot of Excel calculations and giving a lot of confidence to the auditors and to risk team to make sure that all our processing of forecasting and actual comparison is really automated, and we can trust the whole of financial models which are being built by our analyst. The agility is very important, and when COVID hit us in 2020, we were the few companies who were facing the heat from the front line, and as soon as we started seeing cancellations, our business leaders needs faster report to understand how cancellations are happening, in which regions we are seeing more cancellations, how can we support our partners to face this tough time, how can we support our customer to get their money back for all the travels which they have booked. And they can only do that if they have the data, if they have the reports ready to make any informed decision. With the help of MicroStrategy, we were quickly able to make the different reports to understand how COVID is impacting us, and then we're able to share the data with the different type of business leaders by putting different kind of filters using semantic layer. And it was very fast report to share, and that really helped us to support all our business partners, but also our accommodation partners and our customer based on the reports which we were able to derive out of MicroStrategy. Similarly, there are different ways we can have a look using maps, etc. That how the cancellations are happening and where we need to focus more on which region depending on the time. For finance people, Excel provides a lot of flexibility because they love to see the different kind of bar chart and different kind of graphs quickly by changing the data in Excel. But we can replicate all this flexibility also in MicroStrategy dashboards, and financial analysts were able to make their own different visualizations by reusing all these metrics which we have shared with them, and they were able to present these to their business partners very fast and without really doing any additional work in Excel or in data to prepare for it. So that was giving a lot of reusability to our financial analyst. So eventually, with MicroStrategy robust security model and the semantic model's reusability, we were able to deliver a higher, lower time to market to our using self-service capability, and which resulted into a lower TCO for all the work which currently we are doing to support our financial analysts and the team. We have already started migration of our 200 plus spreadsheet to MicroStrategy reporting layer, and with the self-service, thanks now our analysts are not really making any new reports using Excel, so they can leverage the whole reporting visualizations and can share these reports with our external stakeholders as well. It has also reduced their dependency on my team by 50%, and then I can focus more on improving the data landscape, more increasing the compliance maturity by making a more stable platform. And we are able to now provide them with the highest quality KPIs, and all the business teams, they can trust our data output and can really use it with the full confidence. As a next step in our MicroStrategy analytics evaluation, we are going to eliminate all these spreadsheets and provide all the reports using the reporting layer. We will also roll out the mobile BI to our external stakeholders. And after that, we are going to implement hypercards. We have done some demo and it was highly appreciated by key stakeholders. And we will also extend MicroStrategy semantic layer to replace our existing Tableau reports, so that Tableau can also read from one single source of truth instead of trying to calculate everything in our Hadoop or Snowflake calculations. That was our journey to improve our compliance and also all our FP&A functions of work using MicroStrategy and the data landscape. If there's any question, happy to answer.
This was excellent, Saurabh. It's indeed a journey, a mission. You are on a mission. I'm checking if there are questions in the live discussion on the platform at the moment. So, Saurabh, can you explain a little bit, the landscape you are moving away from, and the new landscape at a high level where you are migrating to?
Yeah. So currently we have a Hadoop workspace. We are using 4 Hadoop clusters, and we are in the top 5 customer in terms of consumptions of the data of the processing. So we have around 50 terabyte of Hadoop data in one cluster. So we have 4 such clusters where we are doing all our data processing. And then we are using Excel on top of Hadoop. So you can imagine it runs so slow. And we have 200 plus Excel report, but we have around 600 Excels in our working folder where all our financial analysts making their own financial models, forecasting models, actual comparison variance analysis, all kind of FP&A functions, which is happening on Excel. We are migrating from this now on a cloud platform using Snowflake, where we will replace Hadoop processing over Snowflake. And all these Excel calculations will be replaced in MicroStrategy semantic and self-service capabilities.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. I see other questions coming in here. There's one from Gabriela, but there's a word in the question that I don't fully understand, but maybe you do, Saurabh. I'm not an English native speaker. The question is, was there reticence from the users to adopt MicroStrategy. So I guess the question is, okay, what about adoption of the new interface?
Yeah. There is, and still I am facing some resistance from the stakeholder, because they are so much used to it of getting the reports daily on an email, and just they now know, okay, what to search in the email and just look for the reports. But we are doing a stepwise transitions. First, we are replacing Excel calculation, which is currently sending the reports through MicroStrategy, and we are emailing these reports still using MicroStrategy, but we are also adding a library link. And when we are writing that, okay, if you want to see new visualizations or you want to drill down the data, please click, and then we will travel them to the library link. So this is how we are educating our stakeholders, because most of the stakeholders are director plus or executives, and they might not have time or ambition to really drill down too much. So we are not really changing their way of working from day one, but we are educating them along our journey and telling them, if you want to see more, we have the capabilities and you can say it directly. And we are hoping that by the next round of evolution in our analytics layer, we will stop sending emails and everyone will be so much aware of the FP&A reporting landscape. They can directly go on the web browser and can access their reports from the libraries. But it's a journey. It takes a while.
Yeah. So that is very insightful. So I have another question here. I mean, this is obviously a massive undertaking. It's a huge journey. This will happen. This will take a few years probably. How did you secure executive sponsorship, or how is the executive level? How are they involved in all of this?
I think that's the part where I was lucky to be the part of FP&A itself, and being the part of finance organizations sitting very close to the business teams. I was able to explain all the challenges which they are facing, and also we are the one who are the face towards all the legal and the compliance and the audit. So it was evident that all our audit cycles were too long. We are not able to provide the evidence for our work in a very secure way and in a very automated way. So that was relatively easy for my team to really prepare the data points that where we are struggling as a business and how can we improve if we do a transformation of our data landscape and the reporting framework. And so the key was that we looked for the business pain point, and then we told them that by leveraging these new technologies over cloud, this is how you will save time in your audit cycles. You will save time in your by using self-service, you will save time to make your own reports. You don't need to really rely on data teams to do things. They were able to understand, and they invested in this proposition.
Okay, that's very clear. I don't know how much time we still have left. Maybe there's room for one more final question, which is
I think we're almost up, Dirk. Have you got one question that?
Well, I think it's an interesting question. It's a very interesting question from Victor, who's asking Saurabh, why did you choose exactly MicroStrategy, not another BI tool? Well, maybe that's a good answer, a good question to finish.
Yeah. So we were already using Tableau and Excel. So with the Tableau, we were facing an issue of that the reporting calculation were happening on the data side. And being the data engineers and being in a startup, people were not really following any standards to do things over Hadoop using Spark. All the open source technologies were not really able to give all the evidences to our auditors. So first we changed to cloud. And the second, that using MicroStrategy semantic layer, we were able to really lock in all these KPIs which are relevant for our business, for our risk, for our compliance, and for our business performance. So we can tell everyone that, okay, these are the FP&A specific, highly secure KPIs. This is the way we will calculate in the semantic model. And then you can use it because everyone wants to use the FP&A output so that they can really compare with their actual business performance and can make their decision. But in the other reporting tools, there was no option to do that in this kind of semantic way. So either you have to do in the data management side, or you have to really rely on a lot of manual controls which we were able to eliminate using MicroStrategy. So that was the reason we opted in for MicroStrategy.